we're made of. Standing our ground, here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait to see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we showing out. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. We don't back down, this is what we're made of. Standing our ground, here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait to see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we showing out. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary.
It's explosive. You can't control this, no. I got metal running through my bones, a resurrection like a ghost. Hurricane, go ahead and blow. Where you could keep your white flag, I'll never fold. A shadow on the battlefield, a survivor, never yield. A thunder, go ahead and shade. Don't run from the storm when I feel the rain. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weed's getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. I got a fever in my blood, a falling embers from above. I feel the heat when the pressure blows, a wildfire that you can't control. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weed's getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. With every beat of my heart, I'll be the light in the dark. You can't control this, I'm explosive. You can't control this, it's 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 explosive.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to LSRTV's coverage of the FTSR Sim Racing Points Truck Series here live in Madison, Illinois from the Worldwide Technology Raceway, also formerly known as Gateway. I'm Jason Rockfeld, joined alongside me, who should be here shortly, Wesley Outland and Charles Wooten, pressing all the buttons for us down in Wichita Falls, Texas here tonight. These drivers are ready to tackle the Worldwide Technology Raceway, 1.25 miles here around the four-turn asphalt that kind of acts like a short track, but also acts like an intermediate. If you caught the coverage from Gateway just a couple Mondays ago for the Northwest Truck Series, it was definitely an exciting event and race, and those guys were slipping and sliding all over the place, which I'm assuming we will see a lot of that here tonight. Let's take a look at the Kaufman Creative weather conditions for tonight's race here at Gateway. 78 degrees, wind speed at about 8 miles an hour right now, and the track temperature is at 126 degrees with no clouds up and in the sky. Clear skies. It's going to be sunny. It's going to be hot. These guys are going to be lacking grip big time here around the 1.25 mile oval here in St. Louis. Here's your race on race information for tonight. Coming up, just no faster pair like usual. 100% full fuel. 3 sets of tires behind the wall if need be. 3 green-white checkered attempts if necessary. And an 120-lap race, which will make it the Gateway 150. And we will have our one and only stage break at lap number 30's completion here. And practice has wrapped up. Getting ready to see these drivers take on qualifying here with just 4.5 minutes remaining. If you caught the awesome action last Wednesday night from Charlotte for race number 1 of the 2024B portion of the schedule, it was Brody Hanna taking it home in an absolute barn burner of a finish. We saw 3, we saw 4 wide going into the final corners. The last 4 turns on the last lap. And it definitely should be an interesting one here tonight. TJ Bartel has the points lead coming into tonight with just 3 points over Sherwood Williford, but obviously it is a long 2024B portion of the schedule, so these points will shake up big time, probably even just after this race. So Bartel holds the points lead over Williford. 3rd is last week's winner, Brody Hanna. 4th is newcomer John Ballou, the rookie from Speed Clinic Racing. Robert Malikian from Elevated Esports Racing is there in 5th, 7 points back. Everybody pretty closely together within the points here tonight. And 1 year ago, if you caught the action over on Nerd TV, Richie Coy was the defending winner coming into tonight. And Richie Coy is back here, by the way, with us tonight. I believe it's his first race in quite some time. If you remember, we stated many weeks ago that he would not be attempting the Wednesday night races due to a karting league that he was running up at the indoor go-karting track in Edison, New Jersey. And he ran 1 race since then, but now he is back. Looks to be over. And he's getting back in the saddle, so we'll see what he's got here for 2024B. Here's Brody Hanna, last week's winner. 3rd in the points tonight. The number 23 Gladiator F-150. Currently 8th up on the board with a 34.371. Fastest driver in qualifying at the time being with just under 2.5 minutes to go is Ben Tracy with a 34.016. Bobby Terrell with a 34.486. And Richie Coy with a 34.150. So that's your top 3 qualifying so far. There's Ryan Chapman in the number 2 machine. Remember, the end of the last season went from 27 starting last week at Charlotte, changed the number from 27 to 2, just removed the 7. So maybe the number 2 can get back to victory lane for Ryan Chapman. Remember, was very, very consistent last year, posting a top 10 in every single race. Not last year, rather, but last season. Was so consistent that I believe he ended up only finishing outside the top 10 once all season long. And hopefully with a little bit of luck on his side, his luck can change And he only lost the championship last season by only a handful of points. It was a struggle for him at Darlington. Was not in contention to battle for the title that night. Here's Jeremy Paris, driver of the 05 for Speed Clinic Racing as well. Teammate to Channing Ballou, who sits 8th up on the board. Jeremy had a great qualifying effort last week. Ultimately got involved in an early race incident and then just kind of fell off from there. But we knew he had speed last week. He had speed in practice earlier tonight. And right now, one lap was all it took for the driver of the 05, 34.098. We'll put him second up on the board here so far. And it doesn't look like anybody else will be participating in qualifying. Two drivers that have not qualified are Michael Blacker and Colby Mice. Might not make the grid. We will have to keep an eye on that as we get ready to grid here in just a handful of moments. And it should be an interesting one here again tonight. Let's look one more time here at the race on race information for tonight yet again. Remember, no faster pair, 100% full of fuel. 3 sets of tires behind the wall, 3 green-white checkered attempts if need be. And it will be a 120-lap race, close to 150 miles, around the 1 1/4 mile oval. And the stage break will come at the completion of lap number 30. And remember, folks, this season from 2024B going forward for both the Trucks and the Cup Series, there will only be one stage break for the remainder of the season. Trucks are getting ready to grid. Let's go over your starting lineup here tonight for the Gateway 150. Row number 1, Ben Tracy takes his first pole of 2024B alongside newcomer Jeremy Paris in his second attempt here at racing in FTSR. Row number 2, Bobby Terrell, who's strong on this portion of the schedule in the season, and last year's Gateway winner Richie Coy, who led 17 laps 1 year ago. Row number 3, you will find Robert Malikian, who's off to a solid start, was a contender last week at Charlotte, and Cody McKinney, the man who finished runner-up to Richie Coy 1 year ago, led the most laps with 100. Row number 4, you'll find TJ Bartel, who said that this is probably one of his best portions of the year with this schedule in the B portion. JP Burns will start alongside him in the number 99. Row number 5, John Ballou, we'll see what he can do tonight. He was fast last week, dominated until he caught a caution while green flag pit stops were happening. And Wayne Grassi in the number 7 machine. Row number 6, you'll find Joe Flanagan alongside last week's winner and FTSR's very own Brody Hanna. Row number 7, you'll find Jeff Chandler, who is a newcomer to the FTSR's Fury Motorsports team for 2024B, and Kyle Milliken in the 42 machine. Row number 8, you'll find Jake Euler and Sherwood Williford, the man who's second in points coming into tonight. Row number 9, you'll find Ryan Chapman, Joey McKinney to the outside in the 18 machine. Row 10, you will find Tony Solari, Ryan Bliss on the 68 machine, new number for him as well this season. Row 11, Joey Flanagan, Marshall Johnson in the number 9 machine. Row number 12, you'll find Michael Blackner and Colby Mice, but it does not look like they will be here for the start of tonight's race. And remember, 120 laps, stage break coming at the completion of lap number 30. Ben Tracy has the inside pole. Jeremy Paris from Speed Clinic Racing, second start for the driver of the 05. The same can be said for his teammate Channing Ballou. And it should be an interesting one. "22 trucks ready to tango here in Madison, Illinois, just outside the St. Louis Gateway Arch. And it should be a fun one. Hot, slick day. One of the hottest races we'll see all year long. Track temp is in the triple digits. Air temp, though, is in the double. Here we go. Green flag is out. We're racing in the Gateway 150 in Madison, Illinois. Ben Tracy down into turn number 1. He'll get side by side here with Jeremy Paris off turn number 2. Down the back straightaway, they're going to be side by side. Richie Coy, though, able to maintain their right and third. He's cleared track behind him. Cody McKinney rides in line behind him. In the 5th place spot, being battled between Bobby Terrell and also Robert Malikian there as they come off turn 4 to complete lap number 1. Going to be a drag race to the line, but Jeremy Paris will take the opening lap. Through 1 and 2, and now you see Paris kind of slowly go up the racetrack. Richie Coy down to the bottom side. Got a good arc going through 1 and 2. You'll see that a lot tonight with the diamond effect. And there's just Cody McKinney coming fast right there on the bottom side of the racetrack. He looks to the inside of Jeremy Paris going through 3 and 4. Paris keeps it off the wall there. Thought he was going to hit it. He'll remain side by side with McKinney back down the front straightaway. Fastest lap of the race goes to Ben Tracy so far with a 34.496. So not as fast as qualifying nearly, but still a blistering lap for the driver of the 35. Everybody kind of starting to get single filed out. You see some double wide racing behind the leaders. Here comes Channing Ballou in the 26 machine. Remember last week was driving that 88 Team Conti machine. Believe that was a paint error on his end. Now he is in the 26 machine here tonight. You see the Road to Pro banner on his truck. One of the eNASCAR qualifying iRacing series drivers that attempted to make it to pro. Been off to a great start for his FTSR career. Remember last week at Charlotte, it was definitely a heartbreaker for the driver of the number 26. John Ballou led 93 laps, most laps led all night. Got trapped a lap down on a late race caution during green flag pit stops. Somehow, some way though, was able to come back and finish 11th. I believe he was given a penalty for avoidable contact after last week's finish, so he was elected, or not elected, but rather given that penalty to be the last car on the lead lap at the end of that race, because he was in contention inside the top 3, remember? So I believe he was penalized, if I'm correct. See through 3 and 4, TJ Bartel on the real tree machine. Getting to the inside of Robert Malikian, who's continuing to fall back all the way back there to 9th, and he was running up inside the top 5 just a little bit ago, and now he's falling back to Wayne Grossi in the 7, who works down to the inside of him, gets a little loose off corner exit. Joe Flanagan, Kyle Milliken, Brody Hanna follow in tow behind them, 11th, 12th, and 13th. Channing Ballou still starting to set some of the fastest laps. These last couple laps. It's been faster than the entire top 5. Last time by again, he was faster than them by nearly an entire 10th. So the 26 machine has the speed on the short run. It's just going to be about passing. What could possibly bother him? Richie Coy is checked out to about a 5/6 of a second lead over Ben Tracy. Cody McKinney in 3rd, back by about 7.5 tenths. And then you see Jeremy Paris, Channing Ballou, the Speed Clinic Racing drivers. Back down the front straightaway into turn number 1. You see everybody kind of just trying to find their rhythm through 1 and 2. That is a portion of the racetrack where you could either downshift or not. You know, in real life, most of the drivers, they're always downshifting with these 4-speed manual transmissions here in the trucks. They're usually downshifting to 3rd right there in that corner. Let's see if we can go on board real quick here with Channing Ballou, Charles, just to see what he's doing getting into turn 1, or at least go around the racetrack for a lap. So you see him downshifting right there through the center of the corner. Gets a little loose off. Got to be careful when you're getting up to those high RPMs in a 3rd gear right there. It can get you really loose. We've seen time and time again, lots of drivers spin out, try to downshift in the center of the corner, and get the exit off. And he rides those rumble strips right back behind Cody McKinney as you ride on board the helmet cam. Great shots from our producer, Charles Wooten. Channing's all the way up to the 4th place spot. I know I said John Ballou a few times at Channing Ballou. I know under the iRacing banner he goes under Channing Ballou. The points have him registered as John Ballou. Oh, I believe we got trouble in the back. Wayne Grossi, I believe, has gone around off turn number 2, and he has, but no caution. It was below the racing surface. We'll have to see if we can get an LSRTV replay on it, which we do, because Charles Wooten is the fastest man in the business. See Grossi get really hot going into turn number 1, but I believe right here it's going to bite him. That wheel spin we talked about. Spins down to the inside, no damage, great recovery for him, but ultimately it's going to set him all the way back in the 22nd position. About 15.25 seconds back. Channing Ballou down to the inside here of Cody McKinney. Battle for 3rd going on here on lap 11 coming to 12. His teammate, Jeremy Paris, follows right behind him down to the inside. Into turns 1 and 2. Cody McKinney will take the wider approach while Channing Ballou goes down to the bottom, arcs it back up, gets the run off, and wow, these guys are going at it here for the 4th and 5th spot. There goes Jeremy Paris, so Cody McKinney loses 2 spots in 1 corner in a sense. You don't see that every day. Cody McKinney, one of the fastest drivers in FTSR. You don't normally see him getting passed. In fact, he actually does a lot of the passing in this series. Came up 6 points short last week. Joe Flan, or not last week rather, but back in 2024A. Lost the championship by just 6 points. You see the 53 of Joe Flanagan. Looks like he's made contact with the wall recently. He'll service that truck on pit road, but here we go, battle for 2nd. Channing Ballou continuing his march up towards this front. He started up in the top 10, and he's all the way up to 2nd. Side by side with Ben Tracy back down to turn number 1. Off corner exit. See Channing, he gets right by the 35. Here comes Jeremy Paris now down to the inside, following his teammate. Paris going to try to throw it down in there and see if he can rip that bottom side to get past Tracy. The outside, kind of a difficult place to pass off turn 4. Tracy nearly brushes the wall. Paris not clear quite. Now he will be, but he will not come up. Back to one they go, and Paris clears the 35. Tracy, though, back down to the bottom with a crossover move. Through 1 and 2. Not enough momentum carried off corner. He'll tuck back in line. Both him and Cody McKinney losing spots to the Speed Clinic Racing drivers. Channing Ballou is starting to gain a lot of ground on your race leader and defending Gateway winner Richie Coy. The gap is now about 5 to 6/10 of a second. Last time around, Channing Ballou was a 10th and 200ths faster than Richie Coy. So 1.2 or 0.12 was the difference in speed between Ballou and Richie Coy. Another driver who's making his way up through this field in the first 16 laps is Michael Blackner. Started in the back. Remember, didn't know if he was going to be starting, but he did. He is all the way up to 14th. 9 spots gained for the driver, the 22 from Fury Motorsports. Great drive for him so far here tonight. Had a solid night at Charlotte 1 week ago. Hearing from down in the garage area, Joe Flanagan saying that he lost his brakes. Had to park it for the night, and that sucks. Well, Joe, there's always next weekend. We hope to see you there. Tough break for Joe Flanagan after a brake failure. The 53 machine looks like he will finish in the 23rd spot. Ultimately, first truck out for the night besides Colby Mice, who did not make a lap and currently being listed as the 24th entry tonight. Oh, and Tracy really loose off turn number 2. Heck of a save by the 35 to go from top to middle to bottom there through turn 2 and make a wicked save. Did not get into the grass like Wayne Grossi. See if we can get a replay real quick here on the 35 of Ben Tracy. Nearly just went around off turn number 2 now a lap ago. That was a wicked save, and that probably could have saved the 35's race, no doubt about it. It's Ryan Chapman battling with Brody Hanna. Jeff Chandler, who hasn't really gained any spots yet tonight in that 31 machine. Trying his best to make up some spots. You see Chapman go down to the bottom. Had to really lay off there to not overshoot the corner. Jeff Chandler able to close the gap up pretty quickly. Oh, and Hanna brushes the wall and almost loses it there on corner exit. Great save by him, and a heads-up driving by Jeff Chandler and Ryan Chapman to give him the room necessary to recover that truck. Have a battle for the lead brewing here shortly. Channing Ballou has made it to Richie Coy, and he's looking to pass him on the inside. Contact made off turn number 4. And Jeremy Paris is loving what he's seeing in his front windshield, saying, come on, guys, keep doing that. Do it one more time, and y'all might wreck each other. Ballou now all over the back of Richie Coy. He gets him a little arrow loose out of 2. Ten laps remaining. It'll be 9 laps to go in stage 1. And remember, only one stage break for the remainder of 2024 for FTSR. And tonight it will come at the completion of lap 30. These two drivers, very fast. Richie really likes this racetrack. You just imagine him huffing and puffing, wiggling the truck, getting loose off 2 and off 4. Ballou tries the outside, almost loses the truck off the corner. And his teammate Jeremy Paris gave him enough room to recover. He won't go to the inside. And now Ballou's got to make up that quarter of a second gap to Richie Coy, which he very well could do. But Richie Coy, with the clean air he had and not having anybody around him between about 0.5 to a second, he had time to save those tires. Channing Ballou used up a lot of tires. He could be wearing them things out. Last time around, Coy faster than Ballou by about 1/10 and 1/3. But Ballou still charging back. 8 to go in stage 1. Oh, and Coy overshoots turn 3. Got really loose there and traveled up the hill. Able to recover. Channing Ballou, though, got loose off 2. These trucks are a handful on these worn tires, and Richie Coy went from about 1/4 of a second to nothing back to about 0.4 now with a gap over Ballou. And Jeremy Paris might be thinking about trying to pass his teammate here, Channing Ballou. He knows how loose he is. If he thinks he can go chase down Richie Coy here in these next 6 laps, he might have to pass his teammate, but it's not going to be an easy task for sure. Paris loose that time off 4. Back down into 1 and 2 they go. Paris now tries the diamond effect. He'll look down to the bottom of his teammate for 2nd. Not enough momentum to carry. He'll tuck back in line in 3rd. Richie Coy, though, wants to see these guys battle because the more they get side by side, the more dirty air they create for one another. And with Richie Coy being in that clean air, he could try to scoot away here. 5 laps remaining in stage 1. It's Coy, Ballou, Harris, McKinney, Terrell, Tracy, Burns, Bartel, Milliken, and Milliken, your top 10. Both drivers in 1st and 2nd loose off 2. Harris again closes up to the rear tailgate of his teammate into 3. And this time Paris goes up the racetrack. Richie Coy had a shallow entry. He traveled up but was able to recover. You could even see Cody McKinney and Bobby Terrell getting loose in the back behind them. They're not going to be a factor here in this stage. Back by more than a second and a half, both of them. It's a 3-truck race for the stage win, and both drivers in the lead are absolutely loose all over this place. Paris has a run on his teammate. He's not going to pass him. He'll go to the middle lane. Ballou to the bottom. Richie Coy travels yet again up the racetrack in 3 and 4. Ballou, though, loses a little bit of ground off 4. Quarter of a second between the two of them now. 2 laps, or rather 3 laps to go remaining in stage 1. Or sorry, yes, this is 3. McKinney's starting to gain a little bit of time, but not going to be enough time probably to obviously go for the stage win or at least go for 3rd. But these 3 drivers are absolutely putting on a show. The car control they have behind the sim racing wheel is absolutely insane with how hot this track is here today. Let's take a look real quickly here at the Kaufman Creative weather conditions to see if anything's changed in these last 30 laps, and it is not. It has basically gotten even hotter. 77 degrees, a little bit of wind, clear skies, 125 degree track temperature, and Channing Ballou was wicked loose that time off too. You could just tell these worn tires plus the track temperature with no cloud cover added in is definitely making this track hard to drive for these drivers. Could be one of the most grueling races of the season. 1 lap to go in stage 1. Channing Ballou won stage 1 last week at Charlotte. He wants to make it a repeat 2 in a row. He's going to have one more shot if he wants to go for the stage win. He might have to go to the outside here. Richie Coy will go to the bottom, and here comes Ballou. He goes up the racetrack. He's going to try to dime in the corner, in which he will, but he gets wicked loose through the center of 3 and 4. Not going to be enough. Almost slaps the wall, and Richie Coy is going to pick up the one and only stage here tonight at Gateway. Channing Ballou holds off teammate Jeremy Paris for 2nd. Paris 3rd. McKinney 4th. Bobby Terrell 5th. Tracy 6th. JP Bird 7th. Bartel 8th. Robert Milikian 9th, and Kyle Milliken round out your top 10 to get stage points. And Richie Coy showing the drivers from Speed Clinic Racing, especially Channing Ballou, that he has come to play and he means business. The driver who's only made 1 start within the last few months, he is back and he is ready to go. First race of 2024B for the trucks here tonight for Richie Coy. And he gets that first stage win of the season. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll get ready to restack them, re-rack them, and we'll go green here for the remainder of the 120 laps here tonight at Gateway. Stick around. This is LSRTV's coverage of the FTSR Sim Racing Points Truck Series.
drag race to the line.
Oh, welcome back, everybody, to LSRTV's coverage of the FTSR Sim Racing Points Truck Series. Charles Wooten and I having a little bit of fun during break. Always love to see it. That's what we're all about here at LSRTV. Just got done wrapping up stage number 1, though. Remember, folks, that is the only stage break that we will have, the one that we're under. Because remember, FTSR elected, Brody Hanna and the race admins, or series admins rather, elected to only make the rest of the season for 2024 with the B and C schedule. Only elected to run one stage break the rest of the year for both the Trucks and Cup series, and also every other series that they run that involves stages. So they said that because, hey, they wanted to see some pit strategy, longer green flag races, also give these guys more time to race, and obviously a good finish, quicker races. Ready for the restart here on lap number 35. Green flag's back out in the air, and oh boy, that's a no-no. Channing Ballou beats Richie Coy to the line. That could be looked at by the race officials. If I am correct, I believe the rule is just like in real racing, where it used to be. If you are not the leader, you cannot beat the leader back to the line. So we'll see if anything happens to the 26 of Channing Ballou. Remember, Richie Coy picked up stage 1, and he was able to hold off the Speed Clinic Racing drivers of Ballou and Paris. Everybody single files out, but from mid-pack on back, it's double wide. Ryan Chapman, Brody Hanna duking it out. You also see J.P. Burns, TJ Bartell. They're duking it out now as they go to 1. Burns right there, able to clear the 20 of Bartell. And remember, like we talked about as well in the pre-race during gridding, mentioned how TJ Bartell talked to us after picking up what would be the win, or I believe it was a podium, back at Darlington. He said, I'm excited for 2024B. I always feel like as the schedule gets on, I always get better and better. He said that he really likes this portion. Oh, we got a crash in the back. Ryan Chapman up and into the wall. I believe so is Marshall Johnson. No caution, though. We stay green, but I saw Ryan Chapman slam the wall into turn 2. And we're going to take a look here at the LSRTV replay. Might have been some contact, possibly, with the 23 of Hanna. I believe Jeff Chandler might have been involved as well, possibly. We'll see right here. Oh, Ryan just gets wicked loose on his own, slams the wall, and everybody else on back was able to avoid him. Thought it was going to be a bigger wreck than what we saw. So heads up driving by everybody else to avoid them. We stay green. Like I was talking about, TJ Bartell said that this is one of his best portions of the year. He's currently sitting in the 8th spot. Just ran his fastest lap of the race. That time by with a 34.677. Fastest lap by the drivers of any driver so far tonight was Jeremy Paris with a 34.295, getting closer and closer to those qualifying speeds that we talked about. Approaching lap 40. Ballou, Paris, Coy, McKinney, and Tracy, who started up on the pole. Michael Blackner back there in 11th, continuing to rip up through the field. He's up 12 spots there in 11th. Great run for the driver of the 22. He just ran his fastest lap of the race with a 34.813. So that truck getting faster and faster. Blackner looks like he could be getting more and more comfortable with that truck. Started at the tail end of the longest line. 40 laps ago. He's up to 11th, closing in on the top 10 to try to pass Robert Malikian, who's also battling with Kyle Milliken in the 42. You see them back there now cutting out a frame. JP Burns, TJ Bartel going to go at it again into turn 1. Bartel thought about making a move down to the inside. He entered a little lower than Burns, and Burns going to get the drive off corner. Oh, Jeff Chandler, something of a miss on the 31. Something wrong with Jeff Chandler. He is dropping like a rock through the field. And something might have just happened to Jeff Chandler. We'll take a look at the replay here to see what happened to Jeff Chandler. In just a moment. I believe Charles Wooten's trying to find it for us. But we do stay green. Back to 3 and 4 they go. JP Burns still holding off Bartel right now. Being told that we're not too sure what happened to Jeff Chandler. Might have had a dropout issue or something. But he's still running 19th right now on the racetrack, so a little technical difficulties. But he has recovered and he is there in 19th. Kyle Milliken now coming to the pit lane this time by. Could be an unscheduled stop for the 42 machine. He last pitted back at lap 32. Maybe a strategy game here for the driver of the 42 machine. We'll see how it shakes out for him. See Joey McKinney starting to close in a little bit on Sherwood Williford. He's up 5 spots. Michael Blackner has moved up into the top 10 there. Up 13. Cody McKinney about a second and a half back of your race leader Channing Ballou, who's pulled out to 3/4 of a second over his teammate Jeremy Paris. And we said, these Speed Clinic Racing guys, they are no joke. They came to play here in FTSR, and they have definitely showed. Jeremy Paris, remember, got taken out in a wreck really early in the going at Charlotte 1 week ago, and now he's finally showing his speed. Knew he was going to be fast tonight, probably. And Channing Ballou, tonight it's all about redemption. The driver of the 26 machine, remember, led 93 laps 1 week ago at Charlotte. Had a caution during green flag pit stops that trapped him a lap down. Got the lap back, battled for the win, but was given a penalty and was granted with the last position on the lead lap in 11th. Sherwood Williford starting to drop a little bit now through the field. Seeing him slowly falling back there in 14th. Oh boy, this is a big gaggle of trucks right here. You got contact! Hard into the wall goes Jake Euler in the 15 machine. That might bring out the caution, but I don't believe it does because he kept it going straight even though he hit the inside wall very hard with the left front. We'll take a look to see if we can get a replay on that here in just a second, but Jake Euler hard into the wall with the left front. I believe he bounced off Sherwood Williford, and here it is coming off turn 4. You're going to see right here. Oh, Williford just actually kind of comes down right into Euler. Takes the CowboyRevolution.com Chevy Silverado to the outhouse, as Wesley Outland would say. Minus the penthouse part. So he'll probably come in pretty shortly and get some repairs to that 15 machine. Sherwood Williford, though, continuing to drop back, like I mentioned, that big gaggle of trucks. Richie Coy battling with Cody McKinney there for 3rd. Off turn number 4, McKinney looks to have the better truck here on this portion of the run. And Ballou and Paris have checked out on the field. Paris back by nearly a second over his teammate, and his teammate has about a second, 2 seconds almost, over Richie Coy. See real quick if we can get a look here at the battle for 14 shaping up. Ryan Chapman, Jeff Chandler, Sherwood Williford. See them swapping positions on the leaderboard. Here comes Marshall Johnson, goes down to the inside here of Sherwood Williford for position. It's all going on for 16th. Jeff Chandler with the mishap he had. Not really seeing any damage that I could see on my end here from this 31 machine here. We'll see if we can see the right side of his truck into 1 and 2. Not really any noticeable damage on the 31. What probably could have happened was he probably got really wicked loose off 2, maybe lost it, got into the grass and was able to save it, but he dropped back a significant amount of positions. He is starting to make his way up though in that 31 machine, slowly but surely, down 2 spots from where he started in 13th. Now he closes up to Chapman. He'll look down to the inside. A little bit of contact made there off 4 from the bumper and left rear quarter panel. Into 1 and 2 they go. Chandler riding the bottom, travels up the racetrack, nearly got into the left side of the 2 machine on corner entry. And Chapman's loose again on corner exit. Here comes Chandler. He's got a little bit of a run. Not enough momentum to pass him. But this time he'll go to the inside in 3 and 4. Try to close up to Wayne Grossi. And the 2 barely brushes the wall off turn 4. These guys are racing hard. A little bit of door-to-door contact there down the front straightaway. Chandler and Chapman are racing hard here for position. This is going on for 14th. And the 7 of Wayne Grossi kind of holding up Jeff Chandler. Oh, Ryan Chapman hits the wall again. And Jeff Chandler, while the 7 got loose as well, he could get a 2-for-1 special, and he will. Down to the inside of the 7. Picks up another spot. 2-for-1 for Jeff Chandler on 1 straightaway. Up to 13th, right back where he started. And you could see the 2 of Ryan Chapman really struggling in that Martin Sports Elevated Esports Racing Nerditude machine. He is all over the place, loose on every end. And Wayne Grossi got a little loose there off 2. Ryan Chapman, though, able to get by. Here comes Marshall Johnson. Tony Solari right back there. There's the 14 of Bobby Terrell. Went from the 4, added the 1. Beautiful looking scheme tonight for the 14 machine. I believe he ran that last week as well. Awesome, awesome car. Truck, rather. You see Wayne Grossi losing another spot there to Marshall Johnson. Could lose one here to Tony Solari fairly shortly. Solari goes the inside, slides a little bit off the corner, nearly dirt tracks it. Like a Cop Cam Super Dirt Series car there. And now Chandler getting around Joey McKinney. McKinney nearly ran up into the back of Chandler there at a 3. Able to hang on to it, though. And Jeff Chandler's a man on a mission. And I tell you what, I have heard Jeff Chandler in the team chat. Man, when he gets angry, he gets angry. And you do not want to mess with Jeff Chandler when he is on the move. Because he will put the bumper to you, or he will try to find some way around you, whether you like it or not. Working lap 55 of 120. It's been Channing Ballou out front here, so it looks like no restart penalty given to the 26 machine. He is pulled out to over a second and a half over his teammate Paris. Richie Coy back by 3 1/4 in third. Paris again, a 2 3/4. Channing Ballou trying to see if he could go on a tear here in FTSR for 2024B. Doing a fantastic job. And that 26 machine. It's definitely a big heartbreaker for him last week. Obviously leading so many laps and having what happened to him. See Bobby Terrell trying to get around Ben Tracy. That's the battle going on for 5th. JP Burns With the 99 machine right back behind him in 7th. He closes up right to the rear tailgate of the 14, entering 3 and 4. He gets a solid exit there off turn 4. Thought about, I think, looking to the inside, but elected to stay behind the 14. Back to 1 and 2 they go. Everybody knows to tail back here. Still the biggest mover of the race so far tonight is Michael Blackner again, up 13 spots there in the 10th spot. Great run for the driver of the 22 tonight. Had a solid run going for him last week until he got wrecked. Finished 27th, second to last car. So this would be a great night for the 22 machine if he could rebound here with a top 10. TJ Bartel got a little loose that time off turn 2. See him right behind JP Burns in there. Bobby Terrell all trying to chase Ben Tracy. You see that 15 of Jake Euler. He's officially a lap down. He works on the outside, just trying to stay out of everybody's way. Nearly ran up into the back of the 35. He actually hit the wall right there off turn 4. This is going to have to enable Bobby Terrell to utilize the bottom side into 1. JP Burns is going to follow alongside with him there into 1. They get through 2 unscathed. They will. 99 completes the pass. Now it's TJ Bartel's turn to pass the Euler machine. And does. Lap 61 this time by at the line. Channing Ballou pulling out to a 2-second lead here over Jeremy Paris. One driver really haven't talked about besides the beginning of the race so far is Brody Hanna in that 11th spot there. Only up 1 spot from where he started. Remember, he was last week's winner. Won an amazing finish, an amazing race last week by the drivers. Brody Hanna took home the win there in that 23 machine. Here you see JP Burns again just trying to make another run here with Bobby Terrell. These guys pitted on lap 30, so if I had to guess, probably they would more than likely sometime probably pit around lap 80 to 90. This is a mile and a quarter. We got 100% fuel load in these trucks. I'd say you probably see them coming around lap 80. Wicked loose off the corner there for Ben Tracy and the 14 of Terrell. They battle side by side. And Terrell gets right back to the bumper. And now the 99 of Burns back to the rear bumper of the 14. Oh, and Burns nearly loses it off turn 2. Wicked save by the 99 machine. It's like the 14 thought he was going to bounce off the wall, got loose, and the 99 tried to get off of him. They didn't make contact, but it was dang near close. And this has enabled TJ Bartel to reel them in like a Bassmaster. To the inside of Burns now, down the front straightaway into 1. This is the battle going on for 7th. And the 20 backs out of it a little bit, but gasses it back up. Nearly got to the 99 off turn 2. Still side by side, but Bartel's going to tuck back in line. Great battles here throughout the top 10, even outside the top 15. Channing Ballou is still leading right now here at Gateway, 65 laps in. Green flag pit stop should be coming up shortly. We'll step aside, take a quick break. We'll be right back for the continuation of the Gateway 150 for the FTSR Sim Racing Points Truck Series.
We're a racing family that you can trust on and off the track. Here at Hercules Foundation Repair, we are here to help with our free in-home evaluations and personal repair plans. So if you're looking for foundation repair, go online or give us a call to schedule your free inspection.
Welcome back here on lap 68 of the FTSR Sim Racing Points Truck Series here on LSRTV. Jason Ronkfeld, Charles Wooten up here in the broadcast booth. It's been all Channing Ballou here these last few laps, ever since the green flag dropped for the start of stage 2, the final stage. He's pulled out to about 2.25 seconds over his teammate Jeremy Paris. Richie Coy in third, back by 5 seconds. Green flag pit stop should be approaching us here within the next 10 to 15 laps or so, I would believe. Ryan Chapman, remember him getting loose and slapping the wall a couple times? Well, he is now 19th on pit road trying to repair the damage. He's 10 laps down. Jake Euler 2 laps down in 18th. Sherwood Williford 18 laps down in 20th. Milliken 21st, 27 laps down. So lots of drivers kind of just parking it, whether it be some sort of mechanical issue with the rigs or something. We know what happened to Joe Flanagan. He lost his brakes. He's at 23rd, 58 laps down. Colby Mice did not turn a lap. He will be credited with the 24th place finish. Great little battle still going on that we've been watching here the last few laps. Tracy, Terrell, Burns, and Bartel from 5th on back to 8th. Nose to tail. They've gotten close quite a few times. We saw J.P. Burns make a wicked save off turn number 2 a handful of laps ago. You see Bartel nearly runs into the back of the 99 there off turn 2. Tracy gets loose a little bit. Allows Terrell to make a move down to the inside. He won't come up. Yes, he will. They'll go back single file into 3. And I think, folks, if anybody's going to want to beat Channing Ballou out here tonight, they're going to either need him to have an issue like that. The 99 machine of J.P. Burns up and into the wall, got loose, and the 20 of Bartel ran right up into the back of him. Nearly sent him around, and that could be the end of the day. Maybe not the day, but definitely a race chance to get the win or a 10th place finish for J.P. Burns. Slow on the bottom of the racetrack. The right front is killed. And I can only imagine that TJ Bartel definitely got a little bit of damage as well. Like I was saying, if something were to happen to Channing Ballou, they're going to need a caution during a green flag cycle. Somebody to straight up beat him, but that looks like it could not be the case. Maybe his teammate Paris could. J.P. Burns making his way to pit road with that heavy right side damage to the 99. We'll see if we can get a replay on it. What happened just a lap ago off turn 4 for the 99. Heavy right front damage. He's got some left rear damage on the bumper, so definitely made some contact, I believe, with the 20. The 20 got into his left rear there. You saw the 99 having to back up too far into his stall. It's going to be a lot of damage to fix for the 99. Bobby Terrell battling still with Tracy, and Bartel off 2. You want to know how fast Channing Ballou is? Well, here's the thing. He's running 36.022s. He was about a tenth or two, even on worn tires, faster than the rest of the field. 2/10 faster that last time around. Exactly over his teammate Paris. Both of them running a 35.975 and a 36.275. 16 trucks on the lead lap. Last one is Joey Flanagan, 28 seconds back. Again, the green flag pit stop's probably coming up here pretty soon. We're on lap 76. They last pit at lap 32, estimated that they could probably go about 50, maybe at most 60 laps. If you do the math, you'd end up right around lap 80 to 90. Marshall Johnson in this time on pit road. He looks to be the first one without any damage to come to pit road. He'll pit from about the 12th or 13th spot. As you watch Wayne Grossi in the 7 Shell Pennzoil Silverado. Have Joey Flanagan right behind him. It has not been a good night for Grossi as he gets loose off 2. And we are used to seeing this guy run up inside the top 10. Here we go. Pit stop starting to really begin now. Ben Tracy, your pole sitter, in this time on pit lane in the 35 machine. Who will be next to fall down to the pit lane? Oh, he had to back up a little bit. Overshot his box just by a couple inches. Getting all 4 tires changed on that 35 machine. And with the tire life that they're on right now from 32 to now, the fall off on old tires compared to new is about a second and a half. Here comes Brody Hanna, last week's winner in the Gladiator Ford F-150 to pit road. Coming to his box. Kind of a little bit of an angle, about 20 degrees to the left. So have to turn out of it. But another one of those drivers to pit road. Pit stop's really going to begin, though, here soon. We are yet to see any of the drivers from the top 5 come down to the pits. Here comes Tony Solari. He pits from the 12th spot. Still Channing Ballou, though. And here comes Richie Coy into the pits this time. He knows what kind of truck he's got on the short and long run. Now he wants to make what could be, which more than likely will be, the final adjustments on the number 19 Victory Fuel F-150. Robert Malikian is in 9th. Here's his teammate, Tony Solari, Richie Coy's teammate, exiting the pit lane. Now, what will this do for Richie Coy? He was a significant amount of seconds back. He's going to have Channing Ballou stay out as long as possible. But Ballou knows what happened last week and does not want that to happen again. Joey Flanagan on pit road this time in 13th. I know we've said it a lot, but I'll say it again. Remember last week, Channing Ballou, during the final and last set of pit stops during green flag conditions, came into the pits, got trapped a lap down when the caution came out. Got his lap back, drove all the way back up to the front. Had a rough driving penalty, was given credit for an 11th place finish, the last car in the lead lap. He would not want to make the same mistake again tonight, and he definitely would not want a caution to fall when he's in the pits again tonight. Michael Blackner in there in the 7th spot. He's been having probably one of the best nights we've seen in a while. Talked to him a few weeks ago back at Darlington. Told him, hey man, statistically your stats are good here at Darlington. Don't remember if it was the Cup or the truck race, but I said, make my stats right. He didn't believe I was going to be right. He said he was going to be slow as can be in the back, but he ended up finishing up inside the top 5. Michael Blackner showing his speed here tonight at Gateway for sure. Maybe a little bit of road course experience as well, because remember, Michael Blackner, one of the drivers who is pretty good on the road courses. Last win came at Watkins Glen, I believe, in the Cup Series last season in 2023. So he knows how to downshift and upshift like a pro. Here comes Cody McKinney in from the 3rd spot. The 28 Toyota Tundra TRD machine of Cody McKinney on pit road now. It's only a matter of time before Ballou and Paris make their way down to the pit lane. Richie Coy just posted the fastest lap of the race with a 34.152. He is going to try to make up as much time as he can on Ballou and Paris, the Speed Racing Clinic drivers. Fresh on the scene in FTSR. One race under the belt from last week. Didn't go the way they hoped, but they showed that they had speed. And they sure as heck do tonight. Bobby Terrell, Jeff Chandler, they come into the pits this time from 4th and 5th. Here comes Bobby Terrell, or rather that's TJ Bartel. Down to the pit lane entrance line, or lane this time by. And the Realtree Camo Chevy Silverado will make its way down to its stall. Ballou and Paris still staying out. I think they're going to try to stretch this as long as they can until they have to pit. And here comes Paris. This could be a game changer. We know Richie Coy was the first one of the top 3 drivers to come to the pit lane, but that was many laps ago. And now Paris, with how long he stayed out, he might be able to hold off Coy. We don't know. But will he be able to catch Channing Ballou if he elects to pit many laps later? But the window is narrowing down here. It's closing soon. Richie Coy closing in right now. Everybody is 1 lap down besides Channing Ballou. You don't normally see this very often in racing anymore, where a driver will put everybody a lap down. Wayne Grossi, Joey McKinney, they're going into the pits this time by. Channing is still staying out. Richie Coy able to leapfrog Jeremy Paris, especially with Ben Tracy. They are now 2nd and 3rd. You see the 35 machine in front of Paris trying to hold them off. And there goes Paris right by the Tracy machine. It just goes to show you how much faster those newer tires are. Channing Ballou, though, still staying out. Richie Coy did pass him, got his lap back. So as of now, only 2 trucks on the lead lap here. Next time around, it'll be 30 laps to go from Gateway. While everything seems to wind down here, waiting on Channing Ballou to come to the pit lane, we're going to step aside, take our last break of the evening, and then we'll bring you all to the way to the finish here from Gateway. Stick around. This is LSRTV's coverage of the FTSR Sim Racing Points Truck Series from Gateway.
drag race to the line.
Channing Ballou down to the pit lane, this time by for the last time here at Gateway. Last truck to come down to the pit lane on this cycle of green flag pit stops that went from about all the way at lap 74 all the way to 93. And Channing Ballou is definitely going to lose this race lead as Richie Coy closes in that gap. And there goes Coy to the lead. Ballou falls to third. Will he fall back to fourth? He does. Will he fall back to fifth? He does. Cody McKinney. Both him and Ballou will be two trucks alongside one another, and they have a lap truck of Wayne Grassi. First truck one lap down. Or rather, the second to latest one lap down. Joey Flanagan in the 57. First truck one lap down. And this is a heated battle. Here comes McKinney, who last pitted at 83. Tracy at 76. And Ballou's going to split the middle. 3 wide for position. He's going to get right by the 2. And now try to run down Cody McKinney. With those 9-lap older tires. And Ballou gets third, while Bobby Terrell battles with Robert Milikian and TJ Bartel for 6th, 7th, and 8th. "26 laps to go from Gateway here on LSRTV. This is the FTSR Sim Racing Points Truck Series. Race number 2 of the 2024 B portion of the year. Last year's champion, James Mullins, beat Cody McKinney by just 6 points, and all Cody needed was to lead 7 laps more at Darlington before he got passed in the going for the lead, and he would have been crowned a champion. Just wasn't enough. Bartel and Milikian side by side there for 7th. Battle for the lead is going to shape up here pretty soon. We're going to have to see what happens. Jeremy Paris has now cut the gap between him and Richie Coy, now under a second. It's about 8.5 tenths. Channing Ballou, with about 14 lap fresher tires than the 19, is running nearly an entire second faster. And as I say that, fastest lap of the race, you guessed it, Channing Ballou, 34.130 for the driver of the 26 from Speed Clinic Racing. He's got 4 3/4 of a second back to Richie Coy. 24 to go. And the gap is closing. Richie Coy is going to need to save as Jeremy Paris actually goes to the race lead on Richie Coy. Coy falls back to second. Paris takes the lead. Off turn 2. If there's one guy who's going to be able to compete with Channing Ballou here for the win, it's going to be Jeremy Paris' teammate. Only 6 laps difference between Paris and Ballou's tires. Paris lap 86, Ballou lap 92. And Richie has fallen well off the pace. He is more than a second slower than Channing Ballou and almost Jeremy Paris. Bartel still trying to find a way around Terrell here for the 6th spot. Remember last week we had a late race caution at Charlotte. Will that happen tonight? We don't know. We're just going to have to sit back, relax, wind down, see what happens. Channing Ballou right now is about 0.6 of a second faster than his teammate in the lead. Richie Coy slower than him by a whole second. So the lap 79 strategy not working out for Mr. Coy. He tried, but it's not going to be enough unless they get a late race yellow. All these guys pretty much still have one more set of tires behind the wall here in the pits. And one caution could change the whole complexity of the outcome for this race. We saw it last week. Will we see it again? We'll find out. FTSR 20 to go. And here comes Ballou down to the inside of Richie Coy. Easy money for Channing Ballou. He'll take the 2nd spot as they come up on the lap truck of Tony Solari. He's the first truck 1 lap down. Marshall Johnson will be the next one to go a lap down. Ballou brushes the wall on corner entry to make sure he can get the widest arc he can into the corner. It's only 1.5 seconds separating Ballou and Paris. Time winding down. 18 laps to go this time when they hit the line. Channing Ballou faster than his teammate by about 4 or 5 of a second. How will Paris defend? Because he knows that Channing Ballou is going to get there in one way or the other. Down the back straightaway. 17.5 remaining. The gap. 1 second now between the two teammates from Speed Clinic Racing, who were hot on the scene last week at Charlotte. Jeremy Paris, Channing Ballou showed their strengths in qualifying and practice. Paris taken out early in an early caution. Ballou trapped a lap down during green flag pit stops. Got penalized while battling for the win. Finished 11th last week. Trying to redeem himself and show that he means business here in FTSR. And between the Elevated guys and the Fury Motorsport guys, the Speed Clinic Racing drivers have came to play. And they are definitely showing these guys the ropes here at Gateway. Putting on an absolute clinic. Besides Richie Coy leading and taking the first stage. The gap now 0.4 of a second. As you see Bartel trying to work around Terrell still here for the 6th position. These guys just seemingly cannot get away from one another. They have been battling throughout the entire night here with 16 to go. Don't look now, but here comes Channing Ballou. The gap is 0.3. It's closing. And it's closing big into turn 1. And Channing Ballou is about to get to Jeremy Paris. Down into 3 and 4. The 26 gets in there so well, but rolls to the center so much better than the 05. They might be teammates, but they might not act like it here in the next lap or two. Paris takes the middle line. Here comes Baloo. Has the gap open for him up on the inside. Not enough momentum. Paris loose off 2 here with just 13.5 remaining from Gateway. Baloo tries to throw it down in there. The 05 got a little loose in the center. Opens up the bottom. Here comes the 26. He lays the bumper to him off corner. Here comes Channing Baloo to the bottom of the lead. Into turns 1 and 2. How will Jeremy Paris defend? Will he give it up? Will he fight back? The 26 is loose, and the 05 is going to fight back hard up on the top, side by side here with 12.5 remaining. Down into 3 and 4. We know the 26 has rolled so good here through the center of the corner. He's finally going to get clear of the 05, but gets loose, and Paris will try the crossover. Not enough. Will he get to the bottom? He'll stay in line. He might have to give his teammate the bumper. He's going to go to the bottom. He's going to throw it down in there, but Baloo slams the door into 1. Channing Baloo, clear, clean, and green racetrack ahead of him. Taking the lead with just 12 laps to go. Does Jeremy Paris have anything left for his teammate? $11 laps to go. And both of those two drivers ran similar lap times last time around. Baloo loose off the corner. Do not count Jeremy Paris out of this. He's still right there in striking distance. If anything were to happen to the 26, he's loose through 3. Little technical difficulties issue here for us on the VMix side of things with broadcasting. Very odd, because it's never happened to us. Usually whenever it would happen, it would be a technical difficulty on our end, but that was not us. Good to know that we're still back here live on the air. Only a handful of laps remaining here from Gateway. 8 to go. This time by. Jeremy Paris running a little bit faster than Channing Baloo. Don't count out this 05 machine. He might have something to say here for his teammate. As he gets loose, he brushes the wall off too. While they go into turn 3, these guys are still battling between Terrell and Bartel. Battle of the last names that end in L. Bobby and TJ doing a great job all night long, fighting one another with clean... Oh, and we have a caution with 7 laps to go! And we talked about how this could change everything, and it has. Jake Euler around on the front straightaway past the Geico restart zone. And Euler just simply loses the truck and overcorrects it off 4, gets down to the bottom, and hits the wall. And oh my goodness, this is going to change everything. A caution with 7 laps to go. 11 trucks on the lead lap, last one on the lead lap being Brody Hanna. Who is going to pit? Who is not? Here comes Channing Ballou. If you're going to pit, you got to pit now because there is the entrance line. Tony Solari will stay out. So will Joey Flanagan. Wayne Grassi to get their laps back. And everybody is down to pit road this time by. The four main heavy hitters tonight being Ballou, Paris, Coy, McKinney. Nose to tail. This time onto the pit lane. Everybody and their mothers coming in this time. Fresh tires mean everything here at Gateway. Nobody staying out. All the ones who do are a lap down or more going to get the wave around. We're going to see who wins the race off pit road right here. Channing Ballou's off and away. Will he get beat out? Oh, it's going to be close, and Jeremy Paris beats the 26 out of pit road. And a great launch for the 05 of Paris is going to take the race lead for him. Charles Wooten in my ear saying sometimes races could be won on pit road. And I cannot tell you how many times that has happened. You think back to the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series. Championship finale at Phoenix. Kyle Larson had the fastest stop of the year from his pit crew and beat all the championship 4 contenders that were competing for the title that night out of the pits. And on the final restart, the 5 machine set sail, and Kyle Larson picked up his first NASCAR Cup Series championship. And Jeremy Paris could have just had a similar moment. And it was a great launch for the 05 out of the pits, sped up just enough to keep that nose of the 05 machine in front of his teammate. We know how good the 26 is on the short run. We are yet to see these two go head-to-head. And boy, folks, if you were sleeping and you thought Channing Ballou was going to walk away with this win, you better wake the hell up and realize right now that Jeremy Paris, he's got a chance. So does Richie Coy. So does Cody McKinney. Everybody within probably the first 3 rows, I would say, realistically have a good chance at winning this race. But if there's 2 favorites here, it's Paris and Ballou. You could make a case for the both of these drivers. Paris was starting to kind of be faster there with 7 laps to go. Even though he was more than half a second back on his teammate, he was closing back in. Because the 26 just chewed up his stuff trying to run back to the front hard. While Paris had a little bit of time. And now on fresh Goodyears, it's not going to matter. It's going to be a bare-knuckle brawl. And we're going to restart with just 2 laps remaining. Lights are off on the pace car. This will not be an attempt at a green-white checkered. So if the caution were to come out, we have 3 attempts at a green-white checkered. This will not be one of them. This is under regulation laps. It'll be Paris, Ballou, Coy, McKinney, Tracy, Terrell, your top 6 first 3 rows. It has been a long fight for Channing Ballou and Jeremy Paris. And the 2 teammates from Speed Clinic Racing are about to have a boxing match. For 2 laps around the 1.25 miles of Gateway. Pace car makes the left-hand turn down to pit road. Will it be one of these guys, or will somebody else throughout the field have something else to say? Here we go. Green flag is back out. We're racing again at Gateway, and Jeremy Paris got a great restart, but Ballou gets through the gears perfectly, down into 1 and 2. They're going to be side by side. And Baloo gets loose and nearly hits the safer barrier. He had to save the thing, and he did. And Paris is now out to a quarter of a second lead. And here comes Richie Coy down to the bottom. He gets on the rumble strips, slides up a little bit, nearly got into the 05, or rather the 26. White flag is out. Final lap at Gateway. Michael Blackner around in the back. Oh, and we got the caution. Caution at the very last second, and it was all when Michael Blackner went around in 3 and 4. And after such a strong night, Michael Blackner's race will come to an end, and he might have got a little help from his teammate. Blackner was getting a little loose, and the 23 had no time to check up, and ultimately the two teammates collide, and they will bring out what could be the final caution of the evening. This will now put us in a first attempt at a green-white checkered scenario. And even if these guys had one set of tires left behind the pit wall, like Solari and Flanagan do, there's no way they're going to drive up to the front so quickly because there's only 2 laps on these tires. Green flag racing, I should say. 2 laps worth of green flag racing on these tires. Not even a lap. Boy, oh boy, it is going to get interesting. Jeremy Paris, Channing Ballou, McKinney, Coy, Terrell, your top 5. Ben Tracy will start on the outside of row number 3 and 6. And Jeremy Paris got a great restart last time around. And Channing Ballou nearly hit the wall off too and made a hell of a save where the back end tank slapped the wall just barely, nearly came down in front of the Coy Victory Fuel machine. And then they duked it out going down the front straightaway, and Ballou was able to clear the 19 and 28. And then it was going to be on from there until the caution came out at the very last second. And you can only imagine that Jeremy Paris did not want that, because that was his race to win, and now this could be his race to lose. Before this caution, the last one, remember we had those pit stops after the lap 7 caution, or lap 7 laps to go caution. Paris was able to beat out the 26 of Channing Ballou with a great launch and a great speed up to the pit road speed limit for Paris. That got him the race lead, and that could have won him the race until now. He had a great restart last time, and he's going to have another one. Possibly 2 more after this. See the red, white, and blue obviously on the 05 machine. Honor the fallen. Obviously, a handful of days. Not even. A couple days past Memorial Day. Hope you all had a great Memorial Day weekend. Having fun with your family, friends, whoever. And obviously, we remember those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. All the brave men and women throughout the United States. And how fitting would it be if the 05 machine were to go to Victory Lane 2 days after Memorial Day? And it would definitely be a cool thing to see. Well, the pace car lights are out. That means we're going to get going here this time by. And again, it's going to be Paris, Ballou, McKinney, Coy, Terrell, Tracy, the top 3 first 6. Or not top 3, first 3 rows to your top 6. Bartel, Milikian, Chandler, Hanna, your top 10 there for the first 5 rows. Back in row 4 and 5. Well, it was going to get interesting at the last caution when the restart happened with 2 to go, but now we are going into FTSR overtime. First attempt out of 3. Remember, if the caution comes out with 2 laps to go, we'll re-rack them, restack them, and try it again 2 more times if it happens. Once the leader takes the white flag, the next caution will end the race, and they will race back to the checkered flag. No more cautions. 2 laps to go. Will it be the final time we'll see a green-white checkered? I don't know. Stick around and find out. Green flag's back in the air. This time, Jeremy Paris gets a hell of a restart, and he clears the 26 and 28, going into 1 and 2, and Cody McKinney trying to spoil the Speed Clinic Racing party. He'll go to the inside of Baloo down the back straightaway. Baloo gets loose. That's all he wants to see for Jeremy Paris in his rearview mirror. Baloo able to clear the 28. Will they get the white flag? Off turn 4, Channing Baloo trying. Jeremy Paris brushes the wall. White flag is out. 1 lap to go and a big crash, believe, behind the leaders, Jeff Chandler, Tony Solari. They did take the white flag. This is the last lap. The CRN, 1 to go. Oh, and Paris loose off 2. This is going to get an opportunity to Baloo to close in. Down to the bottom goes Baloo. Final time through 3 and 4. Oh, going to get into him. Cody McKinney on the bottom. They're going to be 3 wide on turn 4. Cody McKinney on the inside. 2 for 1 special. Cody McKinney is going to win at Gateway. What a finish. Talk about one for the ages. My heart is pounding, Mr. Charles Wooten. Have you ever? And this is where you're supposed to say, no, I've never. Shades of Auto Club 2013 minus the wrecking. Take a look from the point of view from the 28. The 26 got into the back of his teammate, sent him up the racetrack, and it was a drag race to the line, and Cody McKinney beats out the 05 of Jeremy Paris by 1 car length, 1/10 of a second. And the man who came up 6 points short of the 2024 A title is going to be the number 1 spot tonight. We talked about, could he spoil the party? Wow. Wow, wow, wow is all I can say. What a finish. What a finish. 1 for the ages for FTSR. That'll be one we will be talking about for a long time. Here's your unofficial race results presented by LSRTV.com. Cody McKinney, Jeremy Paris, John Baloo, your top 3. Richie Coy, Bobby Terrell, the top 5. You'll find Bartel, Tracy, Malikian, Johnson, Grossi, the top 10. Then from 11th on back, you'll find Joey McKinney, Brody Hanna, Chandler, Solari, Joey Flanagan, Jake Euler, the first car 1 to more laps down. 3 laps down. Then you'll find Blackner, Burns, Chapman, Williford. And then the rest of your field, Milliken, Bliss, Joe Flanagan, and Colby Mice, who did not attempt to start tonight, but would be credited with the last place finish in 24th. We'll be right back. We're going to grab the top 3 from that amazing finish. And we'll get to see all the emotion and talk to these guys and see what their thoughts are on that finish. Stick around. We'll be right back for post-race interviews. Welcome back to post-race coverage here from Gateway. After wrapping up a fantastic race and an amazing finish, we've gathered up the top 3. And now we're going to step aside to Channing Ballou in the 26. Channing, I know it was your race to win, man. Caution comes out with about 7 laps to go. Your thoughts?
Well, we lost the race in qualifying, if you think about it, because we didn't get the good pit stall and posted its way back. So, lost the race off of pit road. Didn't help that I also hit my teammate in 3, but at that point, you just got to send it. It's not go home, but, you know, trying to win a race here. So, I definitely probably drove it in a little deeper than I have all night, but at the end of the day, we had 2 best trucks and keep on grinding.
Yeah, I know, and you know, I was going to talk about that last restart, but you made me just think about something else, and that brings me to the question of 2 races in for you guys, both you and Jeremy. I know Jeremy didn't get the finish he wanted last week. I know you didn't either, but you guys were both fast, and you guys definitely showed up here tonight. What does that say between the 2 of you as teammates now moving forward into this season? Because you guys are probably the hot commodity here in the Truck Series.
Yeah, man, I just think everybody can expect Speed Clinic Racing is going to bring 2 really good race-winning trucks week in and week out. I mean, you know, they're going to change a lot of things with this truck here in a couple weeks, so we'll have to get right back at it. But, yeah, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better start. We haven't gotten the finishes we wanted or, you know, have worked for, but they'll come. I mean, wins aren't easy to come by in any form of racing, but they'll definitely come our way eventually.
And before we let you go, man, who do you got to thank for that 3rd place finish tonight here in Gateway?
Yeah, man, Team Conti, they gave us a rocket setup. I thank Higgy's House of Power on the side. He builds tremendous flat kart, go-kart motors. Go check him out. He's out of Virginia. Does a really good job, longtime friend of mine. Got to thank Jeremy for not being mad at me. I know if the shoe was on the other foot, I'd be mad at him, but, you know, it's part of racing, so... thanks to Brody and you guys putting on this league and putting on the broadcast, man. I'm enjoying it so far.
There you go. There's Channing Ballou coming up a couple spots shorts tonight, but definitely will be back for more with the speed that they had over at Speed Clinic Racing tonight. And now we'll step aside to Jeremy Paris, man. Didn't have the finish last week, but you had the speed in qualifying practice, Charlotte. You come in here tonight, arguably probably the 2nd best truck. Talk us through those final moments going into 3 and 4.
It was I mean, it really started off at 2. I got a horrible run off at 2 and gave Channing the run there. So pretty much on me that there was even an attempt to be able to do that. But a lot better finish than last week. You know, Cody didn't back over my hood. Just kidding, Cody. But, you know, I have to apologize to him for that one. On last week, I ruined his race and mine right off the beginning there, just not paying attention. So, much better week for all of us.
Talk us through that final pit stop right there, man, because I almost for sure thought that Channing was going to be able to beat you guys out. But, I mean, you just launched so well out of the box. And I know with these trucks, it is really hard to get up to speed, especially when you're going from a complete stop and then getting through first gear and trying to not spin the tires, man. What was going through your mind right there as you saw everybody kind of storming right behind you, trying to beat you out of the pits?
We were about a tenth to about 2 tenths faster on pit road there with the pit crew. So maybe I paid a little bit more money for my pit crew.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
The team owner would have the best pit crew, but we're gonna
He
have
will
to
next
do
week.
He's got it next week now for sure. Obviously, Jeremy and Channing both having a little bit of friendly banter. And Jeremy, with that being said, man, I know you wanted this win, but what do you got to say? Who do you got to thank for obviously the 2nd place run?
I thank Channing for inviting me to the team here, and we've had a good couple of weeks, fun couple of weeks. Hope to keep it going.
That's Jeremy Paris, driver of the number 05 machine, coming up 1 spot short tonight. And now we'll step over to Victory Fuel Victory Lane. Well, remember, if you go to drinkvictory.com, you could use code KOI19 and check out to save 10% off your order. Or now I'm hearing FTSR. So either or, you could either make your favorite driver Richie Coy, use code KOI19, or FTSR for 10% off your order at drinkvictory.com. Cody McKinney, man, I'm just gonna be straightforward, man. Walk us through those final 2 corners.
I saw Jeremy hit the wall coming out of 4, coming to the white flag, and I knew runs were going to build from there. I wasn't expecting what was going to happen in turn 3, but I mean, honestly, I didn't deserve the win by no means. I mean, these two, they were the class of the field. They had the fastest trucks all race. Sometimes it's just better to be lucky, I guess. I've definitely been on both ends of the stick multiple times, so feels good to come out on top of this one. Not my best track. Jeremy didn't turn me this week. No, I'm joking. All jokes.
That's always helpful when you don't get wrecked halfway down the straightaway.
But yeah, no grudge from last week or anything. I didn't even fully look at the replay or nothing like that. It's just hard racing, racing up front, and yeah.
And obviously, you talk about how you definitely were not the best truck all night, and that these two from Speed Clinic were probably the class of the field all night long. And we know that you're pretty much one of the favorable drivers in this series between you, obviously Ryan Chapman, Brody Hanna, Richie Coy, and now you have these two come along in the series. What do you feel like you might need to do to compete with their speed here this season? Because they're definitely showing up and they're definitely fast.
Preparation. They definitely showed they got speed and great pace. So it's just come down to upping the ante on preparation every week and just be ready to race.
Cody, who do you got to thank tonight for this awesome win here tonight at Gateway, man?
First of all, Ancient World Gaming, Cutscene Sleep, Advanced GG, Gamer Advantage, Tango Paints, Storm Sim Performance, Sword Dog, Next Level Racing, Bron Kennels. They've been great to me since bringing me onto the organization, allowed me to represent them. Glad we could finally get the win for them, especially after Darlington. That y'all know about that. But no, it feels good for them. Everybody at FTSR for doing what they do, all the admins, you guys for broadcasting every week, all the the racing we do, whether it's good or bad, y'all keep the energy alive, and it's appreciated.
There you go. There's tonight's winner, Cody McKinney, coming home at the top of the scoring pylon here tonight from Gateway in what was an absolutely extraordinary finish. Obviously, some hurt feelings a little bit. Obviously, some great racing, though, at the end of the night there, those last few restarts. And it was definitely an interesting one here tonight for the FTSR Sim Racing Points Truck Series. That's going to conclude tonight's broadcasting coverage. For everybody at FTSR, Victory Fuel, iRacing, and obviously LSRTV, Charles Wooten, I'm Jason Rockville saying so long from St. Louis. We'll see you next week from the Bluegrass State, where these drivers will take on the Kentucky Speedway. Good night. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you then.